Well, it's finally here, Super Bowl 50, between the NFC's Carolina Panthers and the AFC's Denver Broncos. It's Mitch from TheBottomLineView. This is my preview and prediction for the football extravaganza known as the Super Bowl. Let's kick it off with the three key matchups to watch. Von Miller and Demarcus Ware versus the two Mikes on the outside, the Panther tackles. Considering how well these two pass rushers played against the Patriots, they pretty much took over the game and dominated their individual matchups. Although in this game, it won't be as much about getting after the quarterback, but more about containing him from using his legs outside the pocket, something that the Cardinals struggled to do. They couldn't get enough pressure even when they blitzed. Greg Olsen versus TJ Ward, Danny Trevathan, and Darian Stewart in a variation of bracket coverage is the second matchup to watch. I think the Broncos will give the Gronk treatment to Mr. Olsen in this game, considering he is Newton's favorite target and go-to guy on third downs. For the Broncos to have the most success, I think they mix up their coverages, which they do a good job of disguising, and expect a lot of physical play at the line of scrimmage with Olsen and a variation of these three guys in coverage. Panthers secondary versus Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas is the third matchup. The attention of the Panthers defense will be put on the Broncos' two primary playmakers. That's Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas. The Patriots did a pretty good job on both of these guys, not letting them be the reason why the Broncos' offense succeeded. The Panthers play the exact opposite type of defense from the Patriots. So I expect Josh Norman to grab the assignment of the bigger Demaryius Thomas, and the Panthers shifting their zones and somewhat double teaming Emmanuel Sanders, who can be a pain to stop. A bonus matchup is special team, in which I expect to be a defensive game in this one. I think field position will be critical. The Gunners of the Broncos, who are very underrated, are going against one of the best punt returners in Ted Ginn. That being said, for those matchups, let me go more in depth on the game plans for each team on offense and defense. How will the Panthers score on a defense that is undoubtedly the best in the league, not to mention the most talented? If the Panthers are going to have success, I think they will need to get their run game established, opening up and relieving their wide receivers from being dominated by the Broncos' elite defensive backs. So Jonathan Stewart, I'm talking to you, pal. The Panthers did a real good job last week using their speed and misdirection to their advantage against the Cardinals. I would not be surprised to see a trick play or two early in this game. And as much as the Broncos will try to take away Greg Olsen, they tried that against Gronk. And I know he's a different animal, but if that run game has some success, I think Greg will have another regular day at the office. Or something as simple as a reverse to provide this offense with a spark. The number one thing for the Panthers, as I stressed all season long, is Cam Newton's legs. And the offensive line is the reason for their success. The offensive line is very underrated. They should be able to hold off that ferocious pass rush at least enough for Cam to create a play. On the flip side, the Broncos' number one priority should be stuffing that run game and forcing the Panthers' wide receivers to beat your cornerbacks man-to-man. I would not be surprised if the Broncos match speed with speed and spy Cam more regularly than other teams, with someone like Brandon Marshall or maybe even Von Miller. The Broncos' conservative offensive style has gotten them this far, but will that be able to hand them the ultimate prize? Peyton Manning is not going to make any unforced mental errors. It's going to be up to the Panthers' defense that will need to press those. They're going to use their interior pass rush along with their aggressive fast linebacker play to make that happen. The Broncos' key to success down the stretch has been their run game, which didn't do too much last week. I expect about the same amount of success that they had against the Patriots against the Panthers. Panthers have similar linebackers that are very fast, and they don't have a weak area against the run. This side of the ball will also be interesting to watch because of the mental chess match that will happen with Peyton Manning and Luke Kuechly. Manning is brilliant at getting his team in the right play. One weak spot in coverage for the Panthers is at the number 2 cornerback spot. Targeting Robert Mcclain and also safety Roman Harper in coverage would be the best bet. Many people think this game will be a blowout in favor of the Panthers. They see Manning making the same mistakes as he did in Super Bowl 48, but he plays different now, more conservative, and it isn't all on him to make the plays. Plus, with the defense from the Broncos, even on a neutral site, they will keep this one close. And there is at least something to be said about Peyton Manning and his last rodeo. So you never know. That being said, my Super Bowl 50 pick is the Carolina Panthers. I think that they will have the defense to contain the Broncos' playmakers and sneak out a very tight defensive struggle thanks to a last-second field goal. 20-17 Carolina Panthers, Super Bowl 50 winners. Super Bowl MVP, I think, will be Cam Newton almost by default because he'll be the one making the big plays at the end of the game. So that's your Super Bowl 50 preview and prediction. I'm Mitch from The Bottom Line View. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe. Peace out.